All right. Hey, everybody. It's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would run these at a few different times. I want to kind of see when we get the best turnout for lives, when we get the most audience. Kind of curious if early evenings my time works, and we'll kind of see what we get for traffic in here. See who we get, see how many people we get. But once people roll in, let's get some questions going. Right? And per the normal rules, I expect people to behave in here. We're not going to tolerate any nonsense. You shouldn't need to ask what nonsense is. You guys already know, right? Be polite about it. And I'd rather not have to discuss any of that. So if you see someone removed, don't comment on it. All right? It's going to be no nonsense. Let's get some training related questions. Get some nutrition questions. That water went down the wrong pipe a little bit there. The downside to drinking on camera. All right, we already got like 11, 14 people in here. Get questions going. And, if you want to ask questions, don't waste your comments because there's a timer. You can only send so many. Don't waste them on giving a greeting if you have something you want to ask, But if you want to just greet, that's cool. Ivan, I don't have any advice for upper back pain. Sorry. That's too nuanced of a question. Right? That's too nuanced of a question. There's no way I can have someone say, I have pain in a certain part of my body. What do I do about it? I have no idea. Right? It's outside of the scope of what I do. But even if it was something I was going to work on, that's not enough information. Like if a client were to come to me with that, I would have a lot of questions for them. And I would know what their programming looks like. So I would be able to figure out if my training is part of it. I don't know your training history. I don't know what your workouts look like this week. I don't know your medical history. You just don't have anything. Jason, if you had a cable machine, what would you use on it? I know Emma has one and some stuff on it. I don't know, because I really don't want a cable station right now. I haven't put much thought into it. I don't know. I guess I would do maybe some lat pull downs or something on it. Maybe some triceps. I don't know if I do triceps on it. I have other tools. Is the cube method by Brandon Lilly a good induction to conjugate style training? No, it's the cube. It's his own thing. Is the cube a successful method? Yes. Is it an introduction to conjugate style training? I don't know that I'd say that. If a client told you they were going vegan, how would you change their programming? I would have a long talk with them and convince them not to go vegan. Right? It's going to interfere with a lot of their training results. You're going to have higher injury rates. There's a lot of problems. I would try to tell them no. And if they're going to do it anyways, I don't know that they're the best fit for a client. I believe people should make their own choices, but that includes as coaches of who we choose to work with. I'm about to be starting a first cycle as Primo 500 milligrams only. Primo only? I don't know that would be my recommendation. All right, I don't know that would be my recommendation. Granted, non-test cycles are a thing, but you need to know what you're doing before you jump into that. Do a lot more research. Is there any benefit to pulling all deadlifts with a hook grip long-term compared to a mixed grip? I don't know if there's a benefit. It depends on if you want to pull hook grip or not, right? That's what it comes down to. That is ultimately what it comes down to. If you're going to be a hook grip puller and you want to do all your pulling with hook grip and you can live with the thumb deadening and your thumbs and hand shape works well for hook grip, then by all means. I don't think you're going to like real high rep work with it, though, if you do any of that. So figure out what sort of training you're going to do also. It's a big factor, right? Because I don't know, you want to do some heavy 5s or 8s or anything like that. That could be a problem for hook. If you're going to run normal conjugate, possibly okay. Jason, appreciate all your hard work for it. Thanks for coming back to YouTube Live. You are most welcome. I don't know who Vigorous Steve is. Sorry. Are vegans prone to psychological issues? Do you think vegans are more likely to have issues already before starting the diet, or do the issues come as a result of the diet? Maybe both. Okay. Number one, the research says yes. It's not an issue of opinion. There's an enormous correlation. Okay. Now, that being said, is it cause or effect? I don't know. I think it's possibly both. Possibly both. Which would make sense. There are certain nutrient deficiencies that can absolutely cause psychological problems that vegan diets can create. I'm not saying they will create it. They can create it. It's a very high likelihood they can, if they're not careful. Right? But then you have the fact that, again, the mindset itself, there's a certain set of different mindsets that could attract people to a vegan diet, certain pathologies. So, and I'm not saying that's universally true. So I think it can be a little bit of both. How much I use a vitamin D3 would be appropriate dose for someone who gets almost no sunlight? Probably 5 to 10,000 units. Tips for attracting women. I'm not running that sort of channel, Ivan. How's the tap water quality in Texas, or do you drink bottled water? No, I drink tap water. I run it through a filter. The problem with asking me Texas is okay, jokes aside, Texas is a very, very, very big place. You can be in Texas and go to a different part of Texas and it be a long way away and be completely different. Different water, different air quality, different climate. Okay. I'm going to assume based upon your name, and I could be wrong, you may not be American. So let me put it in kilometers. Texas is something like 1,500 kilometers across. So the water quality varies. The water quality is very much a regional thing. And I do mean oftentimes individual counties and stuff, and even individual districts within those counties determine that. Overall, I think the tap water quality on average is decent here, but it's not good everywhere. Definitely want to filter some places. All right. All right. Do you have any more training or fitness related questions, or at least stuff I cover? Tofu is not a particularly good protein source. It's a low quality protein the way you break it down. Better than a lot of plant sources, but it's not. I would never use it as a primary source. You want animal source proteins as primary, right? Again, just due to better bioavailability, better overall quality. All right. Favorite meal to eat when out, not worrying about calories or macros. I'm going to probably go, if I go out to eat somewhere, probably fajitas. It's kind of an easy go-to for me. Lulu says, hey, Jason, female fan here. Okay, welcome aboard. Do you think it's generally healthier for someone to cook their food with butter or extra virgin olive oil? Generally, olive oil is always going to be a healthier source than butter. Tips on relying less on energy drinks, pre-workouts, and training. Cold turkey approach has not worked. You need to know, just cut the pre-workouts out. Go cold turkey. Once your addiction is gone, your training will be fine. Like, pre-workouts are not useful to you. Is it better to do GPP or list cardio to improve cardio, or combine both? Well, it depends. Are you talking improving cardiovascular capacity? Then GPP is better. If you mean improve endurance, then list is going to be better. Had to wait for 5 minutes to expire. What's your current caffeine consumption? Also, it sounds like Ivan is a vegan. I do currently 1 pot of coffee first thing in the morning. At the moment, am usually drinking all of it by 9 o'clock. So by 9 a.m. David Ward said, sometimes I get a whole roasted chicken from the grocery store and eat that whole thing in one meal. Does that sound okay? Yeah. Yep. Can be, as long as it fits into your numbers. What power bar would you recommend for a garage gym? I'm going to say Texas Power Bar, hands down. Obviously, there's other stuff. This is my personal preference. I really like mine. Alternatively, Kabuki, if you want to go higher end, Kabuki is good. Vanco, any of those are good. But I really do like 7 retention benefit. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I like the Texas Power Bar. That's what I personally use, and I've owned a few different power bars. That's my go-to. Lulu, did you do one of these earlier? Yes, I did. I'm testing a couple different time slots. I want to see which time slots get the most traffic. Would melting oral AS under tongue instead of swallowing it help to take some of the stress off? You're really going to sit around doing sublingual Anabolics? No, don't waste your time with stuff like that. I wouldn't waste my time. It's still going through the bloodstream. At the end of the day, you're still going to have to deal with that load on the liver. Keep it reasonable and don't drink alcohol. Okay, that's your biggest deals, right? That's what you're looking for. You're looking at a lot of wasted time, a lot of wasted absorption trying to dissolve these things sublingually. Thoughts on caffeine-free coffee? Margo, you just did not say that to me. I enjoyed your ego. Oh man, no, I'm not about that decaf coffee. Mm-mm. All right, I'll be nice. If you enjoy it, then by all means. I don't think it's going to hurt you. I believe for cable extensions, Louis Simmons once said a straight bar is preferable. Thoughts? Did he? I'm not sure if he said that. Thoughts on low-dose aspirin for those with genetic predisposition to cardiovascular disease? Well, that would be a question for your medical doctor, because that's something they'll prescribe for you as needed. I don't think you should just automatically do something like that. Talk to your doctor about it. All right. Is it normal for my close grip bench to feel stronger, better than any standard grip width? It's not normal. I used to be there, by the way, Juan. I used to be me until I really focused on lots of pause benching with a wider grip for months and months and months and months and months and months. It took me a long time to get there. Close grip always came easier to me. But as of now, I'm now benching more with a wider grip, pinkies on the rings. Andrew says, hello, boss. I have joined the dark side. Okay. Is Benadryl on a regular basis to help fall asleep okay for most people? In my opinion, yeah, I think so. As long as you don't have any interactions with it or problems. Are there any machines you recommend lifters stay away from in commercial gyms, for example, a Smith machine? Yeah, mainly the Smith machine. I think they're good machines, and I think there are a lot of machines that are really useless. I mean, you have to ask yourself, why are you using this machine? Does it put me into an unnatural bar path? Is there a benefit to doing it? It really is a case by case basis, right? I've seen a lot of machines that are really goofy, and there's a lot of machines that I like. As a general rule, I don't like Smith machines. And I know when I say that, some coaches don't like that. They'll argue with me. I just don't like Smith machines. I don't like the idea. I don't like the concept. I don't see the point. Says me. Hey, Jason, what do you think about rotating and light touch and go for speed bench? I usually pause at varying bars and grippers. What about a quick reverse? Really feels good in the chest. I think that can be acceptable. I think particularly with bands, if that works for you. A lot of people do better with it paused, but a lot of people do really good with the touch and go, particularly with bands for speed work. Speed work, keep in mind, not your rep work, not your heavy work. The guy says, thanks for doing these. You're most welcome, brother. Jason, maybe a controversial statement, but late 2019, 2020, Jason was my favorite. He truly didn't give a damn about anyone's opinion. Yeah. Do you have any advice for someone dealing with interior pelvic tilt, coach? No, because that's a very nuanced topic. It's something we would have to discuss in detail. What do you mean dealing with it? Is it something you need to fix? Is it a problem on your squats? Is it something you can fix technically? Could you practice some box squats, right? So a lot of things you can do dealing with it. Do you ever wear contact lenses? Nope. Have you ever measured your heart rate variability? It's one of the key data points associated with athletic performance. I actually have never measured mine. Because I haven't really had the need. I'm not competing in anything that requires me to do that sort of stuff athletically. High dose zinc help with comments. I don't think you should be supplementing zinc without really knowing what you're doing. I don't supplement zinc. I don't generally advocate it. How would taking a metal help with confidence? That doesn't make sense. Ivan, come on. I'm aware of that. And I'm aware of that vapor, and I think I've been very polite. But yeah. So, all right. Yeah, vapor. Maybe try box squatting and see if that sorts out your technique with some of that. If it's a problem on your squats. All right. Got a good little number of people in here. Not the highest I've seen in the last week, but it's not bad. We can get some decent questions here. Get some more questions. I'll run this a little longer. Everybody got quiet on me. Or my internet connection went down again. Do tears in abdominal ever heal? Just squat seemed to bring out pain from 6 years ago. I actually don't know. How you like that? I actually just said I don't know. We need to be able to admit that sometimes. Sorry, Mario, I don't have any tips for you there. Would you stick to doing incline press continually for a long progress, or would you invariably decide to pull it out? A lot of lifters really benefit from leaving it in long term, right? A lot of them do. I really should probably leave it in long term. I tend to take it back out. Good guy says, so yeah, I decided I'm trying to test to see what the traffic looks like at different times of day when I do these. I want to get the most out of them. Is risk of hernia purely genetic, or can it be prevented? Its genetics are a large component. Jason, did you forget to narrow your traps? No, it just grows that fast. It grows fast. Tips on dealing with addiction to anabolics. I don't know how to help you there either, sorry. Coach, is sleep apnea something to worry about as a natty if I'm on a long bulk? Yeah, possibly. Okay, think about it this way. Do the majority of people who have sleep apnea use anabolics? No. Are there people with sleep apnea who work out who don't use anabolics? Yep, I've met some. So yeah, it could be a possible concern. Could be a concern. What ab exercises do you do to achieve a six-pack? Is ab real good? Plate push-aways. In other words, you have to lose body fat. Your six-pack is not really due to training per se. It's mostly body fat loss. All right. Right? So, but, your ab work can help. Your ab work can help. Malik, please don't feed into that. Just let it go. Thank you. All right, let's get back over these things. My local old school gym has closed. These gym chains here in the UK are killing the little guy. Seems a good time to invest in a home gym. It might be. The time to invest, the lockdowns kind of told people that something to think about anyways, right? Something to think about. Jason, when 41 years of age and just not getting back into lifting for the first time in over 10 years, what types of cardio do you recommend to accompany weight training? I'd start with just simple walking. Start with simple walking to go with your weight training. And then you can go from there. Do you currently prefer the power curls or the dumbbell supinated curls? Do I prefer, or what did I do this week? I like power curls. I like power curls. I don't always necessarily like to leave them in all the time, right? We do need to change those up just to be careful of some overuse. I like both types, but if you were to ask me what do I prefer, well, the power curls, because I get to move big weight. Is switching accessory movements every 3 weeks to avoid stalling BS? Should you keep the same accessory movements and rotation perpetually as long as there are no signs of overuse? That's going to be a movement by movement and lifter by lifter thing. I mean, I don't think you always need to switch them every 3 weeks. Okay. I don't think you automatically have to. It's going to depend upon the individual lift. But the thing is, you will see some signs of overuse on some lifts pretty quick. What brand and model of power rack? I can't give you the model because it's a Frankenstein Rogue. Because it's a Rogue that I've upgraded multiple times and changed since I bought the original. But it is a Rogue Monster Light setup. But the model won't matter because it was one of their squat stands that I converted into a rack and then converted with another conversion later. Coach, have you ever dealt with a client that had sleep issues that affected his training and recovery all the time? Do you think after a water cut you were able to bench 405? Well, I don't plan on doing big water cuts. That's going to be the thing. I'm keeping my body weight low enough that being in the 220 should be very, very easy without having to do a 20-pound water cut. Like ideally, I'd like to do a 5-pound water cut. I asked about the anabolic addiction for my friend. He's been struggling. Please pray for him. I don't do steroids. The whole topic of reliance on steroids is a very complicated topic, really. It really is. What are your big 3 lift numbers by the end of the year? I just want to squat at 500. I don't care about my squat so much. Deadlift, I don't think I'll get 700 this year. I'd like to see 650, and I want a 405 bench. How much dollars total was your home gym? At this point, approximately 30,000 US dollars. Do you keep reverse hypers in your rotation perpetually, or are there periods where you do something else? No, I usually keep mine in perpetually. Any tips for getting? No, I can't give you tips on real estate. Sorry. Do you ever pay a visit to public gyms? Not really. Do goblet squats and landmine squats still build the quads, glutes, and hamstrings? Yes. Can they replace the back squat folder lift? I don't know that they can really replace it. Why don't you box squat then, Kelly? I would definitely do some box squats. Experts say we lose 10% muscle mass every 10 years after 30 years old. For the average natty lifter with a healthy lifestyle, how much of that 10% could be mitigated if you had to guess? Casing, I don't really know. Because it's not straightforward, because people make gains beyond that. In other words, depending upon where you are, you can oftentimes make gains past 30. Right? It depends on how big you got. Depends on how long you've been training. I mean, if you started training at 30, you're going to be bigger at 40. Way bigger. What height of box for box squats? I'd at least get to parallel, Kelly. So I don't know what that is for you. You're going to have to film yourself with a vertical shank, because that's our goal, is to get a vertical shank and get your hip crease below the top of your knee when you sit onto the box with your shins at 90 degrees. That should be a good baseline. How many days a week do you currently lift weights? 4. Let's see. All right. What public gym accessory for lower back connective tissue? Probably maybe band pull throughs, high rep banded good mornings, if you don't have access to like a reverse hyper. I'm a lifetime natural. You guys know I hate that term, natural, by the way. But any sign of sarcopenia after 60s, I'm thinking of hopping on TRT to maintain as much muscle mass as possible. Miko, that's not why you go on TRT. Miko, that's not why you go on TRT. You go on TRT because you have signs of low testosterone. Right? That should be your determining factor. Is it possible to stall on accessory movements even if we are reaching proper targets of sleep, calories, and training stimulus? Yes, it means that you're just not gaining muscle. And that happens when you're an advanced lifter. It can take a long time to gain muscle. Right? So it invariably happens. Sometimes the reason we shift those is psychological, because you feel the need to be making progress. But it doesn't mean you're not getting a growth stimulus from that just because it stalled. It just means you're not gaining muscle fast enough to improve on it yet. But when you start becoming more advanced, again, that takes a long time. Jason, does that mean you prefer the term drug-free over all day? Actually, I prefer the term steroid-free. Probably the best term for what people mean when they use the phrase. Let's not use marketing terms. Let's just be straightforward and specific in our definitions. There's a lot of terrible nutrition and strength advice on YouTube these days. Will you return to making call-out videos? No, I don't know about that. I deadlifted 245 kg in some class. Would it be possible to deadlift 272 in the 82.5 weight class, currently 86? Well, it might be. It might be possible. Keep working at it and get there. On upper lower, are weighted pull-ups a good choice for our multi-joint back movements? Maybe for some people. I don't personally do them these days. I just do all rowing. Is there a direct relationship between testosterone level and sarcopenia and old age? I figured TRT would help. Okay, Miko, go back to the point. Why do we take TRT? To fix low testosterone. If you have low testosterone, that's not the issue. It's not the sarcopenia. And in other words, that's why you take it. So if you had low testosterone, but you didn't see sarcopenia, you would just suffer with low testosterone for 15 years straight and just put up with it because you're not 60. Do you see the point there? You would just let yourself have low testosterone for 15 years straight because you didn't see signs of sarcopenia, even though you saw signs of low testosterone. Okay, let's come back to the other thing. If you are seeing sarcopenia, but somehow your testosterone levels are normal and healthy, they're not going to be at 60. But if they were, it wouldn't help. Right? It wouldn't help because if your testosterone levels were normal and you have a doctor prescribe you amount to make you normal, there's no benefit. Your levels are not going to go up. So therein is the issue. So you're thinking about it wrong. You're associating TRT with gains instead of with health. It's the wrong idea. It's not how it works. Okay. So how much does conjugate max effort sets contribute to weekly total volume? I don't think they contribute a whole lot. I mean, I think they count as about one set, maybe. That's how I count them. Or you could not count them at all. I mean, if you decide they don't have much hypertrophic potential. Disavow, I'm going to give you the same answer I give every live on every platform. I will not be publicly discussing any of my plans to compete. I will compete again. I will hopefully compete again many times in the future. I won't be discussing it. I won't be discussing dates, feds, or locations. Jason, can the body adapt to jogging 12 miles a week down on rest days with conjugate? Yes, it can. How often do you drink alcohol? I'm over 4 years sober. So how often? Well, at this point, more than 4 years apart. I'm hoping, scratch my nose here. Sorry, my nose really did itch. Let me start that over so people don't think that's a tale of some type. I am hoping to stay sober for life. That is the current plan. Jason, would you avoid caffeine later in the day to optimize sleep? No, I think it's a good idea. Okay. Would you say that the dynamic effort work contributed a lot more to weekly total volume than ME work? Yes. Holy crap, you look jacked, Jason. Last time I watched your videos was like 2 years ago. Seriously, great progress. Thank you. A lot of people were shocked, even some of my clients and other coaches I know, from the shirtless stuff I put up this week. They didn't realize that's where I was. It is what it is. Do you prefer to teach a constant form of leg drive on the bench press, or do you think some people just get it out of the dynamic form? I think most leg drive comes from your technique and setup. I don't think it's something you have to actively learn to do, right? I don't think it's something you have to actively learn to do. I think if you get tight enough and you sink the bar, that you will leg drive automatically. To the point where the only way to remove leg drive for a lifter who trains that way all the time, because it'll happen by default, is to do a Larson press or a floor press. All right. Do you use any ancillaries? A statin? Yes, I use a statin. How often should drug-free lifters incorporate GBP into the bulking phase? I don't know that there's a set number. Does weekly tonnage matter more than the effort put into each set? No, absolutely not. Jason, do you think you'll be able to hit your old squat and good morning maxes at a lighter, healthier body weight? Whew. The problem is I think that those 600 plus squats were high. Do I think I might be able to get back to those above depth like that? Yeah. 600 meat legal? I don't know about that. But you know what? I shouldn't put that sort of restriction on myself. How about I just get where I get? I think the good mornings, that's a good goal, though. I want to try to get there. And that will carry over to my squat. Do top sets of more reps beat you up more than the singles on classic conjugate? Is that why your client Nicola went back to more? Nicola had a bunch of other stuff going on we had to dial in. I'm not going to get into all of his stuff because some of it's private medical. He just went through and got some medical stuff sorted that we should see improvements based upon that. He had an undiagnosed issue. He just had a surgery and he had an undiagnosed issue that I made a recommendation on. He went to see the doctor and the doctor was like, yep, he's right. So he was very happy that his coach caught that. And he's actually doing really good now. It's been adjusted. For a 180-pound lifter, is 115 deadlift and a 320 bench considered advanced? Yes. How long should GPP workouts last and what level of intensity should they be? I don't know if we prescribe an intensity. They should be fairly intense. I don't think GPP workouts should be more than 10 minutes personally. My personal opinion. There are exceptions. So let's go over and say general guideline. I think that's reasonable. All right, guys, we've been in here a long time. It's getting later into the evening. I need to wind this down. So I hope it's been informative or educational or at least entertaining. I love all of you guys and gals, and I will talk to you next time.